Hey guys, it's Jorge coming at you again. Happy holidays. Next week is Christmas. This week is the Jets game, as the Dolphins are going to go into New Jersey and play the Jets up in the cold weather tomorrow on a Saturday. Today is the 16th, I believe, and they play tomorrow up there in New Jersey. Um, Last video I made, we were coming off a win. We just won three in a row, and we are about to face the San Diego Chargers. Since then, we have gone 3-1, and the Dolphins are now 8-5. That is better than I anticipated it to be, as I thought we'd only win 7 games the entire year. Right now, we're actually the seventh seed in the playoff race, with a decent chance to make the playoffs. I've calculated it out now, and we get in if we win 2 of the next 3 games, and the Broncos lose 2 of the next 3 games. Well, we're lucky as we're playing the Jets, who have turned out to be a really bad team this year. They're actually starting Bryce Petty as their quarterback, and there's been talks of firing Todd Bowles. We play them this week. Next week we play the Buffalo Bills. There's been talk about them firing Rex Ryan. They're a better team than I think Rex is getting credit for right now. And they do play the Browns this week, so I expect them to get a win. Uh, Crazy news: the Browns are 0-13. I don't know if we predicted that to happen before the year. I think I was pretty close to that. I might have had them having 1 or 2 wins, but they're 0-13 right now. Anyway, so we play the Jets and then the Bills, and if things go according to plan for New England, we play them week 17, and they should, if things go according to plan, have the number one seed locked up. That means we would play them, and hopefully they would not take the game 100% seriously. And I'll go into why a little bit more later. I'm going to break down the playoff even more and who we have to worry about and all that. I did want to kind of talk about how I feel about the team in the last 4 weeks. Um, the the running game, which had 200-yard games in a row, and then a 100-yard game after that. Jay has yet to break 100 yards since that game. He's had under 80 yards in every game since then, and our running game has not been as effective. This past week, or sorry, excuse me, 2 weeks ago, we played the Ravens, and Jay did have 5 yards per carry, but we had to throw the ball a lot in that game, and our running game did not get over 100 yards again. JJ did not get over 100 yards again. So us going 3-1 and our running game not doing as well would mean that our passing game has improved, and it really has. Ryan Tannehill has improved drastically since the beginning of the season. He has had one of his most efficient seasons as a pro. He is leading the team to close victories in the fourth quarter. And a lot of these games this year, we really haven't had a blowout win except the Steelers, and even that was within a 20-point game. Um, but that was the biggest blowout win that we did have. Every other game has come down to the wire, basically. We've had our special teams, our defense, our offense, all come in clutch at the end of games when they needed to, and it's led to us having this 8-5 record. Recently, our defense has been exposed by Baltimore. The Cardinals really didn't exploit the same game plan as Baltimore like I thought they should have, but Baltimore had a heyday against us. That one loss we had, we were embarrassed, and the NFL was finally starting to come around on us in the media and starting to talk about us maybe being a top 10 team in the NFL. And then the Baltimore game happened, and everybody started to say again that it's a December breakdown. Miami's going to fail. We're not going to make the playoffs. This is what Miami always does. You can't ever trust them. We followed that up with a gutty win against the Cardinals in a torrential downpour of so much rain. They were calling it a monsoon. That game was really gritty and gutty, and Miami's not used to bad weather. Either as the Arizona Cardinals, but I thought we played. We got the win, so we played well enough, obviously. Um, in that win, though, we lost Ryan Tannehill probably for the season. But the good news is he only sprained his MCL and ACL. During that game and after the game, we were all thinking, including the coaching staff, including Ryan himself, that he had torn his ACL and he was going to be out for the season. And those that don't know, ACLs typically take 9 to 12 months to recover, and most people say you're not back to 100% until the year after that, so 2 years away. Just ask Kiko Alonso. He tore his ACL in Buffalo. He played for Philadelphia. He wasn't the same, and now he's producing a really good year in his second year back from that ACL injury. So, all of us Dolphins fans, Ryan and all his teammates, were super emotional after the game. Everybody thought he was done for 9 to 12 months or worse. And come to find out, it is an MCL and ACL sprain. There's the potential, though I'm not wanting this necessarily, there's the potential for Ryan to come back on week 17 or if we made the playoffs. Personally, I don't think the Dolphins are a good enough team yet to go deep into the playoffs. So if it's week 17 and we must win, I would rather sit Ryan Tannehill out for that game to protect him. If there is a sprain, which is the definition of a sprain is a slight tear. If we risk him and he tears that ACL, boom, there goes that 9 to 12 month window that we were super worried about. If we bring him back in the playoffs because we want to win a playoff game, I hope he comes in and he plays well, but I would be super scared to play the man. I don't think it's worth the risk of ruining next season for a playoff run that I personally don't think is going to result in a Super Bowl or maybe even getting to the AFC Championship game. I think we rest him for the rest of the season and we put the ball in the arms of Matt Moore. Now, that being said, I've heard a lot of reports and how people have been thinking about Matt Moore recently, and it seems like everybody's pretty happy about it. Everybody says that Matt Moore can do this. There was people earlier in the season saying Matt Moore was better than Tannehill. Even the analysts have been talking about how Matt Moore could be not a big drop off from Ryan Tannehill. Personally, the man hasn't played in 5 years. I am not trusting him to be good at all. He's gutsy. He'll throw a lot of deep passes down the field. He'll make plays, but I'm also worried that that's going to lead to a lot of interceptions. And we all know that taking care of the ball is the number one job of the quarterback. I don't want to see our defense put in bad situations left and right, especially in these division games, because that these teams want to kick our butt anyway. I don't want Matt Moore to be throwing turnovers left and right. Now, I'm going to get a little bit more into depth about the playoffs and what we need to have happen. If we win 2 of the next 3, that means I'm hoping we beat the Jets and then the Bills, and Denver loses 2 of the next 3. Now, here's Denver's schedule. They play home against New England this week, so I actually have to root for New England. If they lose to New England, next week they play in Kansas City at Arrowhead. We need to root for Kansas City. Then, the final week of the season, they play at home versus Oakland. It's the first time in like 30 years or something, or 20 years, that a team has played 3 straight games against 10-win teams. So the schedule is as hard as it could possibly get for the Broncos. We got to hope that they lose 2 of the next 3 games, and if we win 2 of them, we're in the playoffs. Now, Baltimore, Tennessee, the Steelers are hot on our tail, but it doesn't matter. If we win 2 and Denver loses 2, we are in the playoffs. We have the tiebreakers of the other guys. In order for Baltimore to catch us, that means that they would have to pass the Steelers, and that means that they would win the division title. Steelers, we have the tiebreaker over. So if the Steelers keep the division, then we don't have to worry about them in the wild card. Tennessee can't catch us if we win 2, so we're fine. We're fine. If we win 2 and Denver loses 2, we are in the playoffs. So we really have to be rooting for Kansas City next week. We have to be rooting for New England this week. And obviously, if we win the next 2 games, and those things happen, we're in the playoffs. Next week is Christmas. We play Buffalo in Buffalo on Christmas Eve. If we win that game, if we win this Jets game, and then we win that game, if Denver loses to Patriots this week, on Christmas, they play in Kansas City. We could be celebrating on Christmas night a playoff berth if New England wins against Denver, and then on Christmas, Kansas City beats them. We could be celebrating a playoff berth for the Dolphins on Christmas night. Now, how great would that be? Anyways, guys, that's kind of a recent update for you. I really ain't got much more to talk about. Fins up. Let's go, baby.